Chef Jackie Lau, and today we're going to be making peanut noodle vegetable summer rolls. So we're going to get started, and as you can see, we have a lot of ingredients going on over here, but this is actually a very easy setup and get ready to go kind of thing. So let's get started. Okay, first thing we're going to talk about is rice sticks. Comes in a package like this. This whole package is about 6.5, 6 3/4 ounces. So I like this brand because it's easy to separate. So I already opened this package, but you can see they kind of come in these there's actually 3 of these little bundles in there. So what I do is I take one of the bundles out like this. This is about 3 ounces. And that's what you're going to need to make 6 rolls per the recipe. So I put this little bundle into a bowl, and then behind me I have hot water, and it's not boiling, rolling boil, but it is hot, almost ready to boil. And all I do is pour this hot water over the rice sticks. Now, you're going to want to keep that hot water, so you can shut it off, but don't get rid of it because we are going to need it later on in our process. You're going to let these rice sticks sit for about 10-15 minutes until they get soft. Once they get soft, I'm going to move this to the side. Once they get soft, voila, they look like this. So they actually look like noodles. They're not super soft and falling apart, so you don't want to overcook them. And we're going to use this for our noodle part of our vegetable summer roll. So we're going to put these aside for right now. And next, we're going to talk about the veggies. So this looks like a lot of prep to do, a lot of stuff going on here. But actually, this is a really easy thing to do ahead of time or to get ready for, so you don't have to kind of scramble to do everything all last minute. But this is a good way to get ready, is to prep yourself up ahead of time. So what I did was, all of these vegetables have been washed, dried. I like to wash and dry the herbs. Make sure you don't forget those. Wrap them in a paper towel so that they stay dry. But make sure, really important, you wash everything. Okay? So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our carrot. This has been peeled. I'm going to cut it in half. And I want to give you a little tip when you're cutting rolly-like vegetables like this, okay? You need to be very careful. You can't just chop things up. You're going to cut yourself. So be very careful. Take your knife and cut a little flat edge for yourself. You can see this is pretty thin. Just cut a little edge for yourself, and voila, it's not shaking all over the place. So this is a very easy tip for you to do and a safe way of cutting round vegetables. Again, keep your fingers tucked under and then carefully slice down your vegetable. This carrots are always tricky for some people. Take your time. Don't try to be, super chef and try to cut it all really fast, because that's how accidents happen. And then I'm going to take each slice and I'm just going to julienne it, which is cutting it into smaller matchstick size portions. Just like that. So those will go aside over here. And if I was doing if I was having family over, this is a great thing to do, where you could set up everything ahead of time and then let everybody roll their own. It's a cool little fun thing to do. So if you want to do this one night with your family, get everything prepped up and ready to go. Again, this is a cucumber. It's a rolly kind of vegetable, so I want to cut that flat edge off here. So I'm not rolling. Tuck my fingers under, and then cut this same style that I did the carrots. And cucumbers, they tend to be very juicy. So if I was using a large cucumber, I would hollow out the inside where the seeds are. But I chose these local cakey cucumbers because they're easy to work with and they're perfect size for what I'm looking for today. All right, next I have my green onion. Again, all washed, ready to go. And for this particular dish, I'm just going to use the green part. So I'm going to put this aside. And I'm going to cut these into lengths, about the same length as the carrots and the cucumber. Okay, so these are over here ready to roll. I have my green leaf lettuce. Again, this is all local vegetables here. Green leaf lettuce, this has all been washed, ready. And then I have some basil. This purple stemmed basil is called Thai basil. And then I have fresh mint over here as well. Okay, so noodles are soaking. We have our fast noodles that are already done for us. So next we're going to work on the sauce. And if you haven't noticed, I like to clean as I go. It's very important when you're in the kitchen that you clean as you go, because you don't want to have this huge disaster of a mess. That's how accidents happen. That's how you forget your ingredients. Always staying nice and organized. That is a true chef who can make sure that their work area and all of their prep, and as it's known in the restaurant, mise en place, is ready to go and organized. So I have to do that or I don't feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to. So I have a pot. We're going to make the sauce. So first thing we're going to do is I have a sugar here. I have a half a cup of sugar. I have a quarter cup of water. And I have fish sauce. So I don't know how many of you have fish sauce at home. I do. I'm sure if you have it at home, you've probably smelled it when someone's cooking. It's pretty strong, but it's really, really important for some delicious food. So don't be afraid to use fish sauce. It smells bad, but it tastes great. So I'm doing a quarter cup of fish sauce in with our sugar and our water. And what I'm going to need to do is I need to melt this sugar. So that's how we're going to do the sauce, is melting the sugar with the fish sauce and the water. I dilute the fish sauce with the water. You could use anything else. You could use chicken stock, or you could do whatever you wanted in place of that, but today I'm using water. So we're going to heat this up. And I'm not necessarily cooking it per se. What I'm doing is heating the sugar so that it's completely melted. I will bring this sauce to a boil. I want to make sure that all of that sugar is nice and melted and incorporated in with the fish sauce and the water. Okay, I actually even have one made already, the sauce made. Okay, so if you can see this, we're nice and boiled, and I can't see any sugar in here. It is completely dissolved, which is what I wanted. So now I'm going to take this sauce, take it out of the pot, because if I left it in the pot, it still may keep cooking, so I don't want to keep cooking. And if you can see this, you can see how it's nice and golden brown color here. So this is exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm going to let that cool off. You can make this sauce ahead of time. It'll hold. So definitely, get your prep and your mise en place together, and cool that sauce down because you want to utilize it at room temperature. And then next, this is where the peanuts come in. I have a half a cup of peanuts here. These are salted and roasted. You can have plain peanuts. I like the salted and roasted ones because I like to snack on them on the side. I have a mallet, but if you don't have a mallet at home, you can use a pot and use the heel of the pot and push down to crack or crush the peanuts. I'm going to use the mallet. I put them into a Ziploc bag. This is the best way to do it without creating a giant mess. One thing you learn about in the kitchen is if you make a big mess, you have to clean it up. So I don't want to be chasing peanuts all over the place. Okay, crush the peanuts. I have an already chilled sauce here. And all I'm going to do is add the peanuts to the sauce. And I'm just going to stir those peanuts in there. I usually do this right before I serve my sauce because I don't like my peanuts to get too soggy. So don't do this. Don't add the peanuts in right away. Wait until you're almost ready to go. Okay, now that our sauce is finished, we're going to move on to the roll-up part. So we have all of our mise en place, our vegetables prepped. We have our rice noodles. We have some cilantro, green onions, cucumbers, carrots, mint, bean sprouts, Thai basil, or regular basil, either one, and then some lime. So I told you not to disregard your hot water because you are going to need this. So I have a bowl here, and I'm going to add my hot water to the bowl. Be very careful when you're pouring it or utilizing hot water because it will definitely burn you if you spill it. Next, I have what's called spring roll wrappers. Now, these are also made out of rice, and you can buy these. You can buy them at any grocery store. It's pretty easy to find. I bought these at Foodland, so you shouldn't have a problem finding these. I like to use this size. This is a good size to use. They do come in larger ones, but this is the one you'll find most often. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to use these rice papers. They come like this. You can see they're translucent. I have my hot water. So these are really, really, really easy to make, except if you don't follow this vital instruction right here. When you're using the rice paper, you're not going to soak it in the hot water. This is where people have a hard time and say, it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It does work, but you don't soak them in the hot water. So I have my bowl of hot water. I have my rice paper. All I'm going to do is dip it in here just like that. See how fast that was? And now I'm going to let it sit. The problem that people have is they try to soak it in there until it's completely soft and flexible. You just want to dip it in, get all the surface of the paper covered, shake it off a little bit, and then just let it sit. Okay? It's going to relax. As it absorbs the water, it relaxes. So don't worry that it's still stiff because as it sits, like I said, it will relax. Now, you need a nice clean surface to work on. You want to make sure that your rice paper is flexible before you start rolling, because just because you can see already it's starting to get very, it's getting softer, right? So it takes a minute or two. It's not going to happen right away, but you don't want to try rolling when it's still too stiff because it will crack and break. But what I can do is I can start building on it and then wait for it to get to that pliable stage where I can start rolling. So I want to start with a base of green leaf, and I'm going to tear off the harder parts of the green leaf, and I'm going to put this in the middle here, just like this, okay? And I want to stay in this middle part, okay? I want to make sure that I have room on both ends and that I'm staying in the center. I'm going to put my rice noodles next, and you just need a pinch. Couple pieces of green onions, couple pieces of carrot, couple pieces of cucumber. Now you can see why I cut these small, right? If I had cut them into giant pieces, you'll see later when I get ready to roll, it's going to be really hard to roll this. So I don't want to get crazy, and I don't want to overstuff it too much. Couple pieces of bean sprouts. I take my fresh basil, sprinkle some basil in here. If you have the opportunity, again, to get the purple stemmed or Thai basil, get that one. It's a lot more fragrant and flavorful. Couple pieces of mint. And then I like to use one whole piece of cilantro and use the stem because the stem has all the flavor. So if you can see, I stacked all this right on top of each other, and I made it like this so that I can roll it easier. So I'm going to take this and move it off to the side so everybody can see, and I want to show you this other piece of paper here. Look what happened. It's completely flexible now. Okay, so as I told you, it will relax and it will become flexible. So now, this is the trickier part, or the trickiest part of doing this. You want to roll it like a burrito, with the exception of I'm not going to tuck the ends in. So this is going to be an open-ended burrito. So I have my side that's closest to me, and I'm going to put my hands over the veggies like this and kind of tuck it in. And I want this rice paper to touch the other side of the rice paper because it's sticky and it will hold it as I roll. Look at that. Okay? Now, you could tuck in the edges if you wanted to. You may have seen that out, like, you know, at Thai restaurants and stuff where they tuck the edges in. I personally like it like this. I actually put all my salads in a rice paper, roll it up and eat it. It's one of my favorite snacks to do. So we'll make another one, and I'll show you if you want to keep it tucked in on the edges, how that works. So we'll make another one. And again, you can put whatever you want on the inside. You could put grilled chicken or shrimp or whatever you want in there. It's up to you. This is just kind of the veggie one, but you can do whatever you want. You could pickle your carrots and your cucumbers so that they have more flavor. It's up to you. Again, recipes are just guides. You can make it your own by, you know, just making a few adjustments here and there. And you have created your own personal summer roll or noodle salad roll. Okay, so how am I going to roll this if I'm rolling it where I want it to be closed? In this case, I'm going to make sure that I have this tightly bundled together like this, and I'm going to pull the edges in. This is a little bit more tricky, but you'll get the hang of it. And then I just, again, roll the edge over so that the touches the other side of the rice paper. And then I just tightly wrap it so that all the edges are closed like a little burrito. Again, you know, personally, I like the open-ended one, but it's up to you however you would like to make it. So now we're going to work on getting our plate ready to go here. Okay, so we're getting ready now to, do the final assembly on the sauce, because in the recipe you'll see that I have a lime juice that's added to the sauce. So just a reminder of what we did already. We made our sauce, we chilled it or brought it down to room temperature. We don't add the peanuts until it's ready to, ready to go. So I don't want mushy peanuts. And the last thing I'm going to do is I take a lime and I'm going to squeeze fresh lime into my sauce right before I'm ready to go. Now, I could throw it in whenever I want. It's not really going to hurt anything, but I like to have that fresh citrusy right before I serve it. But it doesn't matter. Either way you want to do it, you could add it in ahead of time if you wanted to. And I'm just going to spoon a little bit of sauce over here. And then if I was making a tray of these, let's say I'm not having my whole family roll their own to order, and I wanted to do it for them ahead of time, I'm just going to take my knife, dip it in water. It kind of just helps cut through that rice paper there. And I'm just going to serve my rolls just like that, ready to go for everybody. And again, you could make a whole bunch of these. You could make dinner out of this. This could be an appetizer. I like to make dinner out of it. This is my excitement for salads, but it's a great snack. Again, get crazy, do whatever you want, add chicken or beef or tofu, whatever you want to put in there. Play with it and come up with something delicious. Thank you for joining us today in my kitchen here at Sysco. My name's Chef Jackie Lau, and I hope you enjoyed our demonstration today of the peanut noodle and vegetable summer rolls. Hope you had fun. Go home and try it and make it your own, and hope to see you again soon.